Oli Barton is a singer and songwriter based out of South London, UK. He has just released his debut single. It's called It's Over Now. The single has been described as an addictive indie pop earworm, underpinned by crunchy, distorted guitars, propulsive drums, and powerful vocal hooks are sure to be stuck in your head. Oli joins me now on the line from the UK. How's it going, Oli?
Hi, Nick. All good. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. Well, thank you for joining me here on the Rock Squad channel. This is actually the first interview that I've done interviews before, but this is the first interview that I've done for the Rock Squad channel here on the YouTube channel. So we're very honored to have you on here to chat with us about this new single.
Well, I feel very privileged to be on. I love the channel. So yeah, it's really nice to be here.
Yeah, so we had a chance to kind of connect over Instagram, started following each other on Instagram and got to know each other a little bit. And you wanted to talk about this new single. It's Over Now. I listened to it, I think about 10 times yesterday. I couldn't get enough of it. I really loved the, your vocals on it, the production, the songwriting has a lot of really great energy on it. Can you give us a little bit of background on this song and how it came to be?
Yeah, we've actually had this one in the pipeline, playing live probably for like a couple of years now. It kind of came, I guess, just post-pandemic. And we kind of, when I was writing it, I kind of wanted to make this kind of really nice kind of pop tune, big hooks and all that, just to kind of get everybody moving at the gigs. And yeah, no, it just came to us one day. And yeah, we've just been playing it ever since. Kind of, yeah, lyrically, I guess it's all about kind of relationships, social media and all that jazz. But yeah, it's all about that a massive chorus, really. I mean, that's what even I get that stuck in my head, and it's just like that's when you know it's a good one.
Oh yeah, for sure. When you have that killer chorus, you know that it's going to be a hit for sure.
We hope. We definitely hope so. Seems to be going all right so far.
Say that it's over now, or should I wait? Won't you say that it's over now? Is it too late?
With this new single, like, can you give people a little bit of introduction to how you got started into music, how you started playing, songwriting, singing? How did you get into doing your thing?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I grew up kind of around Southampton way, which for anyone outside the UK, that's down south of the UK. That's just on the coastline. And I used to play in bands down there and kind of cut my teeth down there, doing a bit of songwriting, a bit of guitar work. And yeah, then I moved back up to London to go to university. And in that time, I just kind of got obsessed with writing songs and getting into kind of a lot of different bands, like a lot of indie bands, older bands, newer bands, and just, yeah, just kind of really got excited about doing that. And yeah, managed to get a few players together a couple of years ago. And yeah, we've been playing live on the circuit ever since. And now, yeah, now we're starting to record kind of my solo stuff. So yeah, it's all coming together finally. It's been a long time coming.
It's over now, or should I wait? Should I stay, or should I stay?
That's usually how it goes for a lot of artists, right? You put all this work into it that a lot of people don't see. You're playing the clubs and you're writing songs, and then you put out a single, and people all of a sudden like, who's this guy? Where's he coming from? But you're like, you've been doing this for a long time.
Well, that's it. Yeah. Cause it's like, to be honest with you, it's like written a lot of stuff before this, which, you go through a lot of different drafts. Like a lot of people say you have to write so many songs before you actually come up with a good one. And it's kind of like, when you start running a tap after changing the plumbing, it's like you need to run it until the clean water comes out. And it's like, I think that's a really good metaphor for songwriting. Is there's a lot of rubbish that comes out first, and then eventually you get the gold, and that's where you need to be. And that's where I kind of feel, I'm not saying that everything I write is gold, obviously, although I hope it is.
Oh, definitely.
But it's just like, I feel like we're at that point now where we're actually making consistent and good stuff. And we have like a whole year of releases coming up. And yeah, it's a really exciting time. Really, really exciting.
Read between the lines, you're living by yourself. You want to act your age, dream of someone else. Time is going fast, and I'll just hold you down. There's nothing good when I'm around.
How do you approach your songwriting? How does it work for you? Do you start with a lyric or a melody or just a general idea, a chord progression? How do you go about writing your songs?
Generally, it starts with the melody, because first and foremost, like this is something I say to everybody, it's especially a lot of the like little clubs and pubs that we often play, is like you can't expect anyone with those rubbish sound systems to actually hear any of your lyrics.
Right.
So it's like yeah, the first thing you need is a decent tune. And that's kind of that Noel Gallagher school of thought. Is like, if you have a decent tune, it's like you'll be fine. Like the lyrics can come second. I do obviously put a lot of effort into my lyrics, but it's just kind of, for me, the starting point is that killer melody, and that's what you got to have. And it's like, that's kind of where I have a fairly high standard with myself. Is like, if it doesn't work for me, like after a week of listening to it, it just kind of goes in the bin or goes in the, in the folder where we'll come back to that later. But it's like, it's over now. And a few of these singles we got coming up seemed to just kind of click. And I thought, actually, no, that's really good. I've got to keep that.
Yeah, it definitely is the Noel Gallagher school of thought. He's all about the melody. A lot of Noel Gallagher's lyrics tend to be just about nothing if you listen to a lot of the songs, but it's always those earworms that you have that end up making the difference, I think.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's like, if you've ever been to like one of the Noel gigs, it's just, it's unbelievable to see hundreds of thousands of people singing songs which Noel himself has kind of said don't actually mean anything. And it's I have a lot of respect for that, because it's like, those melodies are killer, and that's, it sells the song completely. And obviously, as I said, I try to put as much work into the lyrics, but the melody is the starting point, and that's what sells the song. And if we're, as I said, if we're in one of those clubs and no one's hearing the lyrics, then they need to hear a really good melody.
Yeah, for sure. And with listeners too, they can put their own interpretations into your lyrics. Obviously, there's a meaning that you put into it when you're writing it, but then they pick it up and they run with it, and then they have their own interpretations of what it means to them too.
Exactly. I mean, sometimes the stuff you hear from people where they go, "Oh, I know what this is about. I know what this is about," and you go, "I'm not sure you do." Like, I'm not sure you do. It's pretty personal, but it's like, if you get that, then take that away with you. Like, I'm glad you enjoy it in that way, and I'm glad you get something out of it. Feel free to. That's a good thing about like music. It's just, you can read into it a million different ways. Everybody gets something different out of it, and so hopefully, there's a lot of different interpretations. They're all wrong, obviously, except for mine. But
yeah, exactly. Yours is the right one. For sure.
Yeah. But you feel free to believe that. Like,
yeah. Well, the Noel Gallagher comparison is welcome on this channel, because as you've seen with a lot of videos, I'm a big Oasis guy, big Noel Gallagher guy, big UK guy. So I definitely love that comparison. With this song, you recorded it with Alex O'Donovan. Did you record it in London? What was kind of the story about actually recording the track?
So yeah, we recorded that in London. So Alex, Alex, I kind of joined up with. We started recording this track without him, actually, and then he kind of joined during the recording sessions as an engineer, and he just had a lot of really good ideas. And obviously, he's got a lot of kind of credits with amazing bands like Seagulls, and many others. And it's like, just pulled him in, and he just clicked with us. And it's like the vibe that he was going for, which is that kind of slightly poppy indie rock thing, just worked perfectly. And I remember the first day I came in, when he started producing it, and he told me, "Oh, I've done a bit of work on it since you recorded." And I was like, "Okay, I'm interested to see what you did." And it blew my head off what he'd done. Like, just the finessing of all the parts, everything just seemed to come together. And he's a really, really good guy to work with. And we just clicked.
And we're recording this song. You had the band in the studio, and was it more like a live off the floor thing? Was it more of a like just getting in there and trying to get the idea of the song correct? How did it go about that?
So the good thing about us is that because we perform live so much, is that we get to road test a lot of this material.
Right.
So it's like, there's a lot of tracks that I think are amazing that as soon as you get to a gig, just falls completely flat, and you think, "Oh, okay, maybe I need to calm down a little bit." But it's like, we were able to road test It's Over Now, and people seem to talk about it a lot. And we had rehearsed it, we'd kind of finessed parts, and it's kind of interesting going back to Alex. Is like, we had the track down exactly as we wanted it going into the studio, and we recorded it, and it's like Alex kind of changed a lot of things on it and kind of moved stuff around it. I really respect having someone in the studio who actually challenges me, because, being honest, I'm an absolute nightmare. I'm like, I'm a dictator when it comes to my stuff, and it's like, it's my way or the highway. So to have someone to come in and just kind of, kick my ass a little bit is actually really good for me. Like, it's to just kind of go, "No, that's not good. You need to get rid of that." It's like, yeah, I respect that a lot. And I think with a lot of bands, that's what they're missing, is someone who challenges them. And it's like, even with a lot of bigger bands, I feel like a lot of big bands, when they get past a certain point, producers stop challenging them. And that's why they stop making music as good as it was in the early days. Because there's no one to say, hang on a minute, stop. That's not a good idea. Like,
well, it's nice to have, yeah, you're saying have a producer there, because you have your own idea for the song. And like you're saying, you go in, you're spending all this time with the song itself. It's living in your head. It's coming out of your own brain. So when you have to go in and kind of compromise a little bit with a producer and listen to their ideas, it's nice to find somebody like you did with Alex, who's on the same level as you, and can actually bring your songs up to another level production wise. And it sounds like it on the track too. It sounds great.
Thank you. Yeah, no, definitely. It's like, and that's the thing, is it's that big production jump, because it's like there's a lot of bands I see and a lot of bands I hear on the indie circuit who have amazing songs, but it's just like the production lets it down.
Right.
And it's, you know, in a perfect world, we'd all just listen to the songs and we wouldn't pay any attention to production. But it's like it actually does make a lot of difference. You know, maybe you'll get the same 200 indie heads who just, you know, they'll listen to the song and love it. But it's like, if the production's not up to snuff, Joe Public's not going to pick it up. They're not going to enjoy it. And that's what we're aiming for. We're aiming to get the biggest reach. You know, you need to have a producer who actually can get it up to that standard. And Alex did that with flying colors, you know.
Yeah, you can definitely hear it on the track. And you recently, I think last week or the week before, you played a kind of a launch show for the track in London. How did that show go?
Yeah, it went really well, actually. Like, it was a really nice kind of, yeah, we played at the Star of Kings, which is a pub over in King's Cross, and they have this whole underground basement, which just fills up so quickly. And the energy of that show was just unbelievable. Like, it was one of those shows, you know, a show is really good if about halfway through you're on the stage and you think, man, it's so hot up here. It's really hot. And it's like, because that heat is generated by, you know, 100, 200 bodies in the room just sweltering hot. And it's like, at that point, you kind of think, oh, actually, this is going really well. People are enjoying it. People are moving. And yeah, no, we had a really good time. And it was a really nice way to introduce the track properly to everybody and kind of get everyone excited. So yeah, really good.
When you have that many people in the room sweating and dancing and having fun, it ups your game when you're going on stage, and I imagine puts a spring in the step of everybody on stage, because you guys know that you're playing to a crowd that's really going to dig it.
Well, that's it. Yeah. I mean, it's always that funny thing. It's like the first track is always just kind of like testing the water. So you go on stage and you always have those little last minute nerves. And it's like, you go on stage and kind of that first track, you're just kind of thinking, okay, even though this is one of the bangers, it's like, you know, a little shaky. And then like, once you get into the second, third track and people are moving and you can see it, then you just settle down a bit and you get into the groove, and it's, yeah, the band just kind of chills out and everyone has an amazing time. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah, for sure. And who do you have up on stage with you? Who's playing in the band right now? Let's give them a shout out as well.
Yeah, for sure. So on guitar, I have my longtime guitarist Jamal Lagoon. He's been playing with us a couple of years. Bass, Marco Peon. Yeah, he's been playing the longest of anybody, actually. And then Josh Needham on drums. And yeah, we're a real tight unit because we played together in bands before this. So it's kind of like we understand each other very well. And it's kind of that funny thing that if someone cocks up on stage, then it's like the audience never knows, because we're generally pretty good at covering it up.
Yeah, the sign of a great musician, when you can cover it up and the audience doesn't even know anything went wrong, right?
Exactly. Yeah, that's when you know you got it. It's like because when you start out, it's quite funny. If someone cocks up on something, just suddenly everyone in the band just starts shaking. And like the faces drop, and it's like, oh God. You have to notice that, you know, most of the people in that room don't know. So it's just keep going, yeah.
And you're the lead singer, right? So everybody's looking to you like, come on, man, you know?
Well, that's it. It's like the lead singer needs to be like the most convinced that everything is going fine. Like if the lead singer's bass drops, that's it. You've lost it. Like, yeah. So yeah, just keep smiling and just look ahead.
The first rule of music, for sure, of playing live, for sure.
Exactly.
When you go out and play a show, other than your voice, yourself, your guitar, what are 3 things that you must bring with you when you go out to play a show? Do you have like a lucky charm? Do you have something that you have to bring with you that you think helps you when you go out and play a show?
Ooh, it
doesn't have to be a lucky charm, but just anything that, you know, it could be anything. Your
that's
favorite
a very
sweater.
good question. There are things that I bring with me. Well, a pint of Guinness always helps. Like
sure.
that's always a good kind of warm
Yeah.
up before the gig. Yeah. I have this I have my necklace chain here, which I wear around my neck for good luck.
Nice.
And I always wear this on every performance. You know, there has been a time I turned up without it, and it actually kind of gave me the shiver, and I thought, oh no. And I was like, no. I know it means probably next to nothing, but it's like, you know, to me, it's like it's the jewel. I have to have it. Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, other than that, can't really think of a third one. I mean, an audience is good. Like,
Yes. Always. And the pint, like you're saying, the pint of Guinness always helps too to, loosen up the nerves a little bit, get you ready for the stage.
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
for
definitely.
sure. So you did the show in London last week. Are there any plans to do any more shows coming up? Any UK tour or anything like that coming up?
Yep. So we're going to be announcing a few festival slots in the next couple of months, which I'm not allowed to talk about, but they are coming.
Cool.
And we're doing another show, which is due to be announced on Monday, which will be in April in London. And we're supporting a really exciting band. So again, can't say too much. I'm kind of, my hands are tied on a lot of these things at the moment. There's a lot of exciting things I'd love to talk about, but unfortunately I'll get I'll get a slap around the wrist if I do. So
Oh, that's all right. Keep it for when it's ready to be announced, and everybody can get excited and keep their eyes and ears peeled. Well, the thing about it is, like, I've been to the UK before, but I've never gone to like a UK festival. And when you see the footage of things like Reading and Leeds and Glastonbury and all these things, it's just absolutely insane. So I imagine that, if you get a chance to play a festival, like that would be a pretty crazy experience.
it's one of those things. We've done it before in previous bands, and it's like you do your kind of it goes by in a complete world, because it's like you do your half-hour set, and then it's just partying for like 2 days. It's like the set, you go in thinking, oh, I've got to nail the set. I've got to do the set really well. And it's like you go in, you don't drink because you're just like you're worried that you're going to be off form, and you're like you go in and you do the set, and then it's just and then you go to the organizer and you go, okay, well, thank you for that, and they go, okay, have fun.
See you later.
And it's
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, cool. I forgot that what's his face is playing over there. I'll go watch him. Like, and
Yeah.
it's just after that, because you've kind of been bricking it for the whole day. It's like the next day or two is just off the charts, kind of partying and drinking and just kind of chilling out. So hopefully, we'll have a few of those this summer. Hopefully, not too many, for my liver and all that. But yeah,
Yeah, not too much. But
yeah.
that's the thing though. It's like there's all those nerves leading up to the show. You just want to do a good show. You go up and play your set. You know that you did a
Mm.
good job and that everybody enjoyed it, and then you can just go and relax for the rest of the time.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, that's all the better if you're somewhere like Reading or Leeds, or if you're at one of those amazing festivals, and it's that's pretty good to be able to go work for half an hour and get a £300 festival ticket for free. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
Well, I meant to ask this earlier too. Like, who are your musical influences? Like, obviously you're from the UK, so there was probably a lot of UK influences there. Who are the main influences on your sound and the music that you make?
So I mean, I've got quite a lot. There's a lot of bands, it's funny because there's a lot of bands I'm influenced by that, but I don't think our sound generally correlates to. Like, as we already mentioned, Oasis.
Mhm.
I don't think you can really be in an indie band from the UK in the last 20, 30 years and not be influenced by Oasis, because, the influence is so big, and they are, they are still the standard by which bands
For sure.
are measured. But for me, a lot of older bands like the Smiths, I'm a
Love the
huge
Smiths.
Smiths fan. Like, I've always been a massive Smiths fan. They're probably my favorite group of all time. I adore everything they made. And who else? I probably shouldn't say Blur. I probably shouldn't say Blur. Blur's not a good look on this channel, I would imagine.
Well,
But
you know what? I do like Blur as well, so you can say
yeah,
that might tie into a little question a little bit coming up too. But yeah, that's
uh,
okay. You can say them. It's fine.
yeah, I get it. I mean, yeah, Blur are great, and it's like I've seen them many times, and I've met Damon Albarn a couple of times, and they are they're just phenomenal performers. And I must say, still to this day, whenever they bring an album out, they bring the A game. It's always something completely different. And no, I'm very influenced by them, I think. Yeah. So yeah, but the Smiths are the main one.
Yeah, well, there's a certain quality to the Smiths' music, their lyrics and Morrissey's vocals, and just the Johnny Marr's guitar. That still they were an influence on Oasis too, because the Manchester sound and everything like that. So,
Mm.
and I love Blur too. I love that new album. The Ballad of Darren was a really great album, and
Brilliant.
Yeah, they're good. It's okay. We can say we love Blur here on the Raw Squad channel.
Yeah. Okay.
But just a couple more questions. It's Over Now is getting some love on BBC Radio now. And I'm assuming like like this is like I don't know if you had radio play before or if this is the first time, but like what does it feel like to hear yourself on the radio when you're does it's an exciting feeling to hear yourself and tell everybody that you're going to be played on the radio and everybody gets kind of pumped up for it?
The novelty honestly never goes away of hearing someone introducing your track or saying your name on the radio.
Right.
It's just kind of you're listening to it and then you just kind of have this out of body experience where you just can't believe, oh, they're talking about me. Okay, cool. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's great. I really like it. Being played on BBC is, it's such an amazing thing. And actually a couple of years ago when I first started out with the band, we've had a lot of support from the BBC before. They actually got us down to play a live session with them. And it's really nice to just have support from people like that, people high up who actually, tastemakers and all that. So yeah, no, it's really, really good. And I never tire of it. Never tire of it.
Yeah, it's always really, really cool. And hopefully it will be more radio play to come. But I just want to do some rapid fire questions. I usually do this in a lot of the interviews. They're just some fun rapid fire, this or that questions. And we were saying earlier, talking about Oasis or Blur. Oasis or Blur?
That's a good question. I would say overall, Blur. Okay. I think Oasis have the better album. And I must say that I'm really enjoying their solo careers, like separately. I think they're coming out with some amazing stuff. And I think actually at this point, I think they're on the best form they've been since the 90s, right? In my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely agreed. Gibson or Fender or something else?
Oh, Fender. Well, I've got a Fender right here. So I've got to say Fender, just in case someone's watching and they want to offer a sponsorship, I will go with Fender. I always play Fenders at gigs.
Yeah.
I always play Fenders in the studio, mainly because Gibsons are about 3 times the price.
Yeah.
And there's that. I mean, they're beautiful guitars. But it's like a Fender will sit anywhere. Like I can take a Fender to any gig. If I was to take a Gibson, I'd be needing to do something quite specific, I think. So Fender's a bit more usable.
Nice. Fender. Yeah, I got a Fender right over here too. So Fender's a good choice. Beatles or Stones?
Easy, Beatles.
Okay, good. That's I love the Stones, but the Beatles are untouchable when it comes to anything.
Yeah, I think so. It's funny because a lot of these kind of questions, like especially like Blur and Oasis, Stones and Beatles, you've got a lot of kind of like in terms of UK geography, that's kind of like South and North divide.
Right. Yeah.
And it's like, so my kind of preference for Blur would probably come from being in the South. And it's like, if you said that up north in the wrong places, you could probably get your head kicked in.
Yeah, exactly. Don't say that in Manchester.
Yeah, it's certain parts of Manchester. Yeah, we love going up north, and a lot of we've done a lot of recording up north and a lot of gigs up north, and it's always been fantastic. But yeah, it's like it's all about Oasis up there, and Blur fans need to just kind of keep quiet.
Arctic Monkeys or the Kooks?
Arctic Monkeys, any day.
Okay,
any day. I have some connections in that camp, so I need to be very, very careful about saying anything about Arctic Monkeys. I love them to death, honestly. I think they're an amazing.
Oh yeah, Alex Turner's one of the best to ever do it for sure, and yeah, they just keep exploring so many different sonic directions, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like that's a kind of a cool model to follow as an artist to be able to progress that much in your sound from being those kind of punky lads to being, I don't know, some sort of jazz band or whatever they are now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think like it's interesting with Monkeys because it's like I remember when the first record came out and how massive that was. And I'm not sure it had such a big impact over in the States, but here it was a real like game-changing record, and everybody had that record. Yeah. And it's very interesting because it's like when a lot on the indie scene, a lot of bands seem to either sound like Oasis or sound like Arctic Monkeys. And it's like, although I take influence from both of those bands, I do actually kind of enjoy the fact that I don't think my music really sounds like either of them.
Yeah.
But it's yeah, no, I mean, they are, both of those are massive influences, and yeah, I've got so much appreciation for both catalogs.
Yeah, I saw. Well, actually, I saw the Arctic Monkeys when they first started on that first record, opening up for Oasis in Toronto.
Really?
Yeah, it was that was a crazy show.
That's amazing.
Canada of all places. So
incredible. I mean, I saw them last year at, oh, where did I see them? I saw them in North London doing a stadium gig, and it was unbelievable. Just the crowd just moving in waves, just bouncing up and down, and just it's amazing to see them go from that first record to where they are now, where it's, you know, as soon as they put a gig on, it sells out in about half a second. So it's, yeah.
Yeah, well, hopefully they'll be doing that at Oli Barton gigs very, very soon. You know, just
I hope so.
Bopping
That would be
down.
nice.
I'd love to see that.
So
So we got this new single. It's over now. It's out there now. So what's next for you? Like, what are the rest of your plans for 2024? Is it some more singles? Are you working on an album? What's coming next?
So we're working on more singles at the moment. In fact, really cool. I just signed off on the next one, which will be coming out in April, I think. And we're going to be kind of doing that throughout the year, just kind of single after single. And then I think the idea is to kind of make that into a collection of tracks, which we'll press on vinyl, CD and all that. Yeah, obviously doing the festival circuit in the summer. And yeah, just lots and lots of gigs. And yeah, hopefully kind of working up into the bigger leagues. And yeah, hopefully by the end of the year, when we speak again, it should be in a fairly different place.
Yeah, I hope so. It looks like things are really on the up and up, and the track sounds great. Oli Barton, and the new single's called "It's Over Now." Where can people follow you online if they want to keep up with everything that you're doing? Where can they find you?
So we're on everything. So Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Follow us on Spotify. That would be the quickest way to get new music. So yeah, definitely check us out on there. And yeah, I mean, Google us, and I'm sure you'll find us somewhere.
Right on. Oli Barton, the new single's called "It's Over Now." Thanks so much for being the first interview here on the YouTube channel. We really appreciate it.
Well, thank you very much for having me, Nick. It's appreciated.